Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to Your Health, a live healthcare program coming to you direct from Bradford. Alhamdulillah, welcome back. Before the break, I was just going through the 5 most commonly indicated remedies for ADHD. I mentioned chamomile 30C. I mentioned its signs and symptoms. I mentioned Cina, CINA. Then I mentioned hyoscyamus, another remedy in which the child swears a lot. Then stramonium, another remedy where the child has a lot of fear inside him. And then I mentioned the rescue remedy, as you can see here. This is known as rescue remedy, mashallah. It's been around for like nearly 110 years, mashallah. This is a very good remedy for stressful situations, for exam nerves, for calming down a critical situation or a mishap or an accident that may have occurred. It works in amazing ways, mashallah. And you can purchase this very easily from most reputable health food shops. So this is also a very good remedy for children with ADHD. It's made with certain flowers and plants, and it's amazing how certain trees in nature, the medicinal properties of these trees, Allah, but it's really amazing. It's amazing fields, mashallah. So this is also good. So I was mentioning that if you're not sure which remedy to give to your child who has ADHD, the symptoms kind of some fit, some don't fit, then what I suggest is you give chamomile 30C in the morning, and you give in the evening, you give stramonium 30C. So chamomile 30 in the morning and stramonium 30 at night time every day. At night, give stramonium 30C, 1 small tablet, and the homeopathic tablets taste like sugar, so the children kind of like them a lot. I have certain patients who come and, I just give them one empty bottle with non-medicated tablets because it tastes like sugar for them, and one with the actual medicine on the tablets. So stramonium 30C at night time and chamomile 30 in the morning, and alongside that, give them 2 drops from this rescue remedy, one in the early afternoon, one in the late afternoon, maybe 1 o'clock, and one in the late afternoon, about 4 or 5 o'clock, inshallah. And this will, after 2-3 months, there'll be a big change. And alongside that, you really need to give omega-3 fatty acids to your children. Omega-3 fatty acids are so effective in ADHD symptoms, in calming a child down, in helping hyperactive children, in helping impulsive children, in helping inattentive children. It's a no-brainer. The studies have been done. It's a colossally effective method, but you need to get a 5-star fish oil with no contaminants in. There is a company which is very reputable. If you want to know the name, you can just maybe email us, maybe admin at thezenithclinic.co.uk, and I can let you know the name. I can't say it on air, unfortunately. Okay, now I'm going to quickly go to a video. I want you to see the video and just look how a child who's maybe 4, 5, 6 years old exhibits symptoms of ADHD. This is a classical case of a child with ADHD. Jazakallah. We've taken the kind of sound away, but very impulsive, very hyperactive. They'll be doing this all through the day, running around, and and they don't even get tired, you see. So then for to figure out if he has ADHD, these are the points that you'll need. So this child, look, he's breaking the things. They'll do this, and it's not because their parents have been bad. It's just this is how the child is. They can't sustain their concentration. They'll forget things. They'll be told how to do them clearly, but they just won't. And they'll be running like this every chance they'll get. Even in school sometimes they'll run, and they can't focus on one thing. You'll tell them something and they just will not focus. They want to do what they want to do. Some children are more inattentive than hyperactive. They just can't focus, and some are more hyperactive than inattentive. Happens in different ways, and they're like this throughout the day. poor things. And then, you know, at night time, and some of these children, even at night time, they can't sleep. And look, they can't focus. The mummy's telling him to focus, and he just wants to kind of play. Same thing with pens. Instead of writing, he'll probably, you know, break the the tip. So she's just going through the. You see, this child probably had less sleep, but in spite of that, he's just still hyperactive, and his mother's so exhausted because they have to kind of put up with this day in, day out. See, the child, he's always inattentive. So, yeah. So here we are. Children whose mothers have smoked are more than twice as likely to have ADHD, the children, than the non-smoking pregnant ladies. Okay, mashallah. So that's a video of a child with ADHD. Allah Ta'ala keep it safe. Otherwise, let's go to these PowerPoint presentation. Let's quickly run through these presentations so we can see the symptoms and signs. There we are. I mentioned last week, there's 3 types of ADHD. One is inattentive, and the other one is hyperactive impulsive, and the third is a combination. And you'll see inattentive is easily distracted, yeah, struggles to learn new information, resists tasks that require mental energy, and regularly loses their things. That's inattentive. The second one is hyperactive impulsive, squirming and fidgeting, often described as on the go, difficulty taking turns. He wants to do his own stuff all the time. Inattentive is the first one. You can look in with your own children, which child is exhibiting what. If this is the case, are they inattentive, or are they hyperactive and impulsive, or do they have symptoms of both? If you look at the screen, next screen, we see the causes of ADHD. What causes it? As I mentioned, heredity. Sometimes it's just a family thing. You'll have it in your family. It'll be passed on to the child. Number 2, brain injury or trauma. That can cause it. Premature birth. That can cause it as well. And then you've got smoking and drinking. Alhamdulillah, Muslims should not be drinking, and they shouldn't even be smoking. This can cause untold damage to the child. ADHD is just one. And then the 5th one is environmental factors. If you live in an industrial area, then Allah Ta'ala knows what kind of nuqsan is happening to your child. Still a child in the womb, not a non-born child. Let's look at the symptoms in total and in children. ADHD signs and symptoms in children. Carelessness. They come late for school. Not because they want to, it's just the sign of ADHD. Is how their brain works. Risky behavior. They'll do things which other children won't. They have trouble getting along with others. Here you can see a child, 2 children kind of, fighting over what looks like a dinosaur. Disorganization. They're very disorganized. The room's disorganized. Their work is disorganized. Their wardrobe is disorganized. And number 5, excessive talking. Very loquacious. Talking. Or daydreaming. Difficulty sitting still. And forgetfulness. These are all symptoms of ADHD. Let's look at the signs of ADHD in girls. We've only got 5 minutes left. So girls will be easily distracted. They'll cry easily. They'll hyper talk. They'll be verbally impulsive. They'll say things without thinking. They'll daydream, and they'll have problems completing tasks. So what can you do if you have children with ADHD? The next slide will tell us what to do. So if you have children with ADHD, you need to provide positive attention. You need to say good things to the child. The child will remember the good things. Give effective instructions. Make things clear with clarity. And praise your child's efforts. He doesn't want to be like this. Unfortunately, he is like this for whatever reason it may be. It's not the child's fault. And then establish rewards. Give the child rewards for doing good. And use consistent consequences. So the child should know if he does X, which may be good, then he'll get a reward. If he does Y, which is no good, then he will be disciplined. The child should be used to consistent consequences. Okay, The next slide. Issues which can occur because of ADHD. Behavioral problems. The poor child is being told off all the time. You won't have friends. Behavioral issues will arise. Learning disorders because he has difficulty with, the brain has difficulty with the dopamine, how much it produces, how it uses it. Peer problems, he may have increased injuries because he's not afraid, he takes risks or she takes risks. And then anxiety and depression, when things don't work out and many children lose friends, they become anxious and they become depressed. These are all signs and consequences. And the next slide will tell us masking. Some children have ADHD but they hide it, so they stay too quiet and be very careful of what they say because they're scared if they say something wrong they'll lose friends, or they keep checking their belongings, or they react as how people want them to react rather as how they feel, and then they try to develop perfectionist tendencies. Again, masking so people don't know they have ADHD, and then so they're scared of losing friends, example. Suppressing behaviors like leg bouncing, so if they want to bounce their legs because they're hyperactive, they suppress it. Or mimicking or copying others, especially in social situations. So rather than being who they are, they just change their symptoms to what people will expect. And let's look at the slide number 9. Common symptoms of ADHD in women. Difficulty focusing. I'm just mentioning these because many people, adults, have this as children and they've never been picked up on this. So if you have difficulty focusing, you're disorganized, you overspend, you clutter, you paper cluttering, forgetfulness, indecision, problems listening, then there's a high chance that you may have ADHD. And you may have to, start on fish oils. Fish oils, omega-3s are amazing anyway. Whether you have or not, they're very, very beneficial. And then let's look at slide number 10. There's a remedy here which I haven't mentioned, and this is tarantula. Tarantula, obviously, is a well-known spider. Tarantula. There is a remedy which is made from this spider, and this kind of remedy is very good if the child has a lot of rolling on the ground from side to side, etc., and he strikes others, then this remedy can help him. So mashallah, alhamdulillah, we mentioned, we've been through all the slides, we've showed you the video of a child with ADHD, we've mentioned the homeopathic remedies, alhamdulillah. I hope you found this beneficial, and I hope it's answered some questions you may have had about your children's behavior or even your own behavior. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or attention deficit disorder, because not every AD has a H in it. It can just be ADD, not ADHD. Many people have this, and I mentioned before, it's a behavioral issue. It's an issue where the brain makes less dopamine, and what it makes, it uses it in different ways. This can be helped. It can be helped with homeopathic remedies, alhamdulillah, very, very effectively. You can get rid of it. And number 2, omega-3 fatty acids are phenomenally effective for anybody who has issues with irritability, with anger, with lack of focus. Fish oils are phenomenal. It's something that you should look into, especially if you can get some fish oil which is kind of 5-star rated with no contaminants. It's so good for your child's health alongside probiotics, good bacteria. Not just children, adults as well. If you want to make a big difference in your health, fish oils are very good and probacteria are very good. As always, make sure your GP is aware of anything you're going to input into your diet. Jazakallah khair. Until next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.